The Captain Centos release is getting kind of wild.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Captain Centos today, the new re-release in 2025, where he's back in Primaris, well, I guess in Primaris for the first time. He lost his cape, but he got Primaris armor and a sweet back banner, and he's totally not Pedro Cantor at all. No, sir. This is not Pedro Cantor. I know it looks like it, but it's not. So this thing got kind of wild, but I'm going to unbox and build them because I just like the miniature, to be honest with you. And I actually went and stood in line at my local Games Workshop store. It was actually a pretty pleasant experience. The guy that runs the store came out. He counted the people in line. He was like, okay, I got enough for everybody. You know, he went around and talked to you. He's like, you here for Centos, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so it was really neat. You know, it took about 40 minutes to get through the line, and I got it. I got the guy, and I was super happy. And I was like, cool, I don't have to buy him off eBay because this was actually something I was interested in. But well, seeing the prices now on eBay, I probably wouldn't have paid the eBay price for it. But let's talk about that in a second. So here's some of the eBay prices. Now, $67, that ain't too bad, I suppose. I mean, it sold for $45, which I was actually surprised at when you told me the total. It was like almost $50 with tax, but whatever. So I probably would have paid that, to be honest with you, just because I like the miniature. But some of these other prices that we've seen sold listings going for are kind of wild. But you know, it is what it is right there, and maybe this will only go up from here. I'm really not sure. I'm kind of hoping that it is available at Adepticon or even at LVO in October, because we've seen it in the past where they take these miniatures and they said specifically on their listing that it's first available at this celebration. So it may be available again, we just don't know quite yet. So if you see it, if you're at Adepticon or you're at LVO, or maybe even the Grand Narrative thing in Atlanta, maybe scoop him up, because he is a cool miniature, and you know, it'll only help out drop the prices if everybody has them up for sale. You know, it might actually go for like $60, which ain't too bad, I suppose. It pays for your gas maybe to drive to the event or something like that, which I feel like is not a big ask. It's not scalping if you're just buying one and they were available, and it kind of helps out your hobby. But if you're cleaning places out and you're jumping the lines to get these things and get multiple copies, I feel like that's scalping to me. You know what I'm saying? So a quick note that I think I forgot to talk about a minute ago was that there is multiple versions of Captain Centos, believe it or not. So you can check our article, but basically there's one here that says like 200 North America stores. And that was supposed to go to North America stores. Obviously, I bought this in North America. Apparently, this is the UK version. And some people that went to Warhammer World and actually got it, got the American version. So I don't know. I guess there was a big mix-up where all these things went. Maybe somebody didn't realize it. I mean, you can't tell by looking at the front. You can tell by looking at the sides, apparently, but you can't tell until you flip it on the back. I guess some wires got crossed and these things went all over the place. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's worth a little bit more. Maybe it's worth a little bit less. But that's just a quick thing to note. Maybe look on the back if you got it and see what it says right there. If it's blank, supposedly that was the UK. There's an EU version, I forget what it is. And then the one that says 200 North American stores, obviously it's supposed to be here in America. So this model, actually I haven't opened it up yet, so let's take a look. Oh, it's the big sprue. Okay, cool. And oh, it comes with a little molded base, so that's neat. I always like looking at the instructions first to see if there's any gotchas, and just looking, that's pretty normal. Attaches right there. I don't know how that's going to work out, but hopefully not too bad. Looks like there's a slice for the front, so it isn't a separate top. The arms are separate. The cape is separate. That's cool. That'll be cool for painting, actually. And then the shoulder pads are all separate, which is neat. But what is this? Oh, the shoulder pad goes into the... So this is why I like 3D printing with stuff like this, because if you have a chapter icon or something you want to put on here, it's nice to get a nice, you know, convex or concave, I forget which is which offhand, but nice rounded bit that you can put on there. So that way, you know, when you have stuff like this, you can still put your chapter iconography on there, which is really neat. Bare head, not bare head. I don't like bare heads personally. And I guess we could glue that. Oh, we can glue tack that right there so we can paint it separate with the airbrush and then stick it on. That's kind of how they used to do things back in the day with banner poles when they were pewter, and that did not work out well with pewter, but I'm hoping it works better with plastic right there. And then it's got the little tactical rock, strikes again, and looks like it places right on there, so that should work out. I don't really see any gotchas with that. Now today, we're going to be using some really cool new tools too. So you might have seen these on the site. I was really stoked when Wargames Atlantic started coming out with their own hobby supplies, and these just seemed like something that hadn't been out there before. The nanophiles, which work really well. I've used these off camera, and the hard plastic clippers. Now they were a little bit smaller than I thought they were going to be, or maybe I just have ginormous hands. I don't know which. But these work really well, and it's got this little breaker bar right here, so it doesn't extend too far and like rip out the little spring, which I thought was a neat. I thought it was to put drops of oil in there, but I don't think that's the case, or maybe that is the case. I guess I should reach out and email them. But either way, you can put a little oil in there and it'll just work its way in regardless. But today we're going to be using those because I think it's important, you know, to clip the stuff off sprues properly, and then using the nanophiles I think will be pretty neat too, because hitting the rounded edges and such sometimes are a pain in the butt. So let me show you this right now before I get into actually assembling the model. So one of the things when you want to clip out parts of things, one of the things that really helps the most is to get in as close to the part as you can, so that it doesn't leave like a big chunk. And that's what I like about these clippers from Wargames Atlantic, is it really gets down in there and they're nice and smooth. Now they're not God hands clippers, but I mean for 25 bucks, I don't think you can go wrong with that. So let's just do this live. And then we'll use the files to clean up that area right there. But if you, oh, it's got little bumps on the banner right there for Centos, so that'll be nice. All right, so now this should come out. Yeah, well, split across here. Okay, so now we got that, and you can see where there's going to be like a little rough edge right there on the thing, and that's where these nanophiles come into play. And what I like about these too is it's got these little grooves, and I don't know if they're going to show up. You can see where I used it already. They've got these little grooves, and apparently you can rinse these underwater to get all the crap and crud out of it. Now, I'm only using it like once or twice, so I'm not too worried about them, quote, not being clean. But this is going to be fun. So I didn't quite get in there too good on that, so I'm going to come in here again on this one. And well, that's actually really hard to get to. So we're going to grab our clippers, or our hobby knife. And I definitely have an eclectic bag of tools. I don't know if that makes me like an eclectic tool bag, but I really like the Monument Hobbies one here. And since I have a little protection for my thumb, I'm just gonna get in here and do this. Now, this is the part I wanted to show you. So there's two different files here. You got the flat and the pointy, and then the chisel. And the chisel's just great for all around cleanup and deburring stuff, which I couldn't do there because it was kind of protected. But this little spot right here is great for this because it gets into all these hard to reach areas. And remember, files you do in one direction only. So we're gonna go in one direction and then pull it back, and then you just go in one direction again and really clean that up. See right there, that's looking pretty fresh. I'm happy with that. I have readers on, but you could probably see it a little bit better than I can in the camera because of the resolution. Now we're gonna come back to these round areas, and these round areas, like I said, this is good for just general purpose cleanup, but I'm gonna go on the round areas here. I'm gonna use this nice flat piece right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in a single like push around it, because it's gonna keep equal distance, and that way it's not gonna dig into the actual rounded part of it. You can see here, we're not going back and forth. We're not serrating the part. And look at that. From what I see, it's pretty smooth now. That's crazy. I mean, it's almost as smooth as plastic right there. So we're gonna do that on both sides. And that's why I really love these tools. When I saw these come out, I was like, oh man, I gotta try those. This isn't like sponsored or anything. I actually spent the money on these. It didn't even dawn on me to ask them to send them to me. But maybe we'll turn this little part into a short, because I think these tools right here in your kit, everybody should have them because they are the best that I've had for like 30 years. Okay, wow. So that was a fun little build. So, well, a couple of things to note. You're gonna have to glue down the cape. It's sad, but just the way that the shoulder pads are, it's just really not gonna be conducive to popping that into there and popping it off. But you can use a little bit of Friscuits if you want to airbrush it. And by Friscuits, I mean, you can use something as simple as just like a little Post-it, where you just basically, if you're airbrushing, you just get in here with a Post-it, something like this. I mean, this is just off the cuff, but it really helps to keep the overspray, you know, off of your mini. But you can always base coat it, the base color, with a brush, and then go in there and do your fades with an airbrush. You missed a little burr right there. That's okay. I always double check them before I prop them. But yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, that was a fun little build. I didn't glue it down to the base because, well, maybe I'll paint the base separate. I don't know. And I blue tacked that right there so I can pull the banner off and at least paint that separately. I don't know, maybe put a design on it, who knows. I like to future-proof my own minis because I never know what theme I might pick up down the road, as I don't currently have a Marine army, but I pretty much have a Marine army, if you know what I mean. I guess I forgot to drill out the barrel too. That's not a big deal. I had that little wow stick, which is really fun to use, but we'll do that in another time. So yeah, I mean, comparison-wise, let's get this blue tack down pretty good. Okay, so comparison-wise, here's Mephiston, the Lord of Death. And you can see that, yeah, he definitely is just about as big as Mephiston. So normally the Primaris characters are around 40s. And then we got just our normal Ultramarine that we painted up with the speed paints back in the day. And he's pretty cool. And obviously the height difference right there definitely makes sense, as that is, you know, a captain guy right there. So overall, pretty happy with this dude. You know, I think the build was pretty simple, and, you know, just have to keep in mind that cape is probably just gonna have to get glued on. So thanks for watching my unbox and build and little mini rant, I guess, about the eBay prices on this guy. I mean, I think he's a cool mini, and, you know, if you spend 50-60 bucks on him off eBay, I don't think you'll be too disappointed with him, because he is a very, very cool mini. I can't wait to eventually get my Marine army all painted up again for Primaris and get him on the tabletop. I'm not quite sure of the theme yet, but let me know what chapters, what themes you do, and what you look for. What excites you about a new character model? Because I was actually excited about some of the Primaris Black Templars when they came out a few years back, but never pulled the trigger on the Templars, even though that was technically my first Marine army back in 3rd edition. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. So that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know in the comments, you know, what chapter and what excites you about character models for, well, Space Marines. Thanks for watching. Supporting us is super easy. Just click on the article links provided, subscribe, or follow us right here. And remember, next time you're searching for the best Warhammer news, type Spiky Bits into Google to get the most accurate info. See you in the next one.